Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Bol
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai
Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai
Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram
Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Shri Radhe Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Hari Bol Om Bhat Ganahati Milandasya Gyanam Shanam Salakaya Shaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutade Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you. Hare Hare Bol.
Mandakini Mataji ki Jai.
Anantakuti Vaishnavinde ki Jai. So, dear devotees, we are in a very small group, so you don't hesitate to ask questions and everything. I was asked to talk about how I came to Krishna consciousness and how I met Srila Prabhupada. So it's a story that will take you beyond the time and space. A very, very long time ago, in the years 70. So at this time, the youth all over the world, in America, in Europe, in Russia, I'm not sure. But the youth was really looking to an alternative to materialism. And we didn't like the way our parents were living. Actually, our parents, they were young during the Second World War. So when the war was finished, they really wanted to get back all these years that were actually quite dramatic. And they were looking towards the American dream. So American dream, it was a dream of plastic. It was how to get a cooker, how to get a washing machine, how to get a fridge. So that was a time also where people, the youth, was actually fighting for different rights. In America, so it was rights for the freedom of the woman, that she shouldn't spend the whole day just in domestic affairs. It was also a protest march against the war in Vietnam. And it was also a protest march for the rights of the black people with the great hero Martin Luther King. You all know, this very famous, beautiful text when he said, "I had a dream," when he saw the future. So the whole youth was protesting against the established order. In France also, I come from France, we were protesting. We had a small revolution in the years 68. So we were protesting in the university against a very rigid establishment, destined only for the elite of society. So at this time, I had two friends. We were 19 years old. So this little story will show you how Prabhupada related to a very young lady, how kind, how wonderful he was, and how he actually saved us. So at that time, we also were searching for an alternative way of life, not like our parents. The life of our parents was what we call in French, métro, boulot, dodo. Métro, people very early, they get in the tube. Boulot, they go to work all day. And dodo, they come home so exhausted, they have no time for thinking. They just want to sit in front of the new gadget, the television in black and white, just to fill their mind with another story. So this life for us who didn't suffer like our parents did was not worthwhile. We really wanted to understand what was the goal of life, where we came from, what was going to happen after death. So the youth was very, very eager. And you may know, at the time, it came from America. There was a teacher in university. He was studying human behavior, And then with some friends, he came up with a chemical substance, that maybe could change human behavior in certain circumstances. So first he tried the substance on himself, then he gave it to the other teachers, then he gave it to the students. And then he was kicked out of the university. And of course, that substance was called LSD. And it was, of course, it's complete Maya. But for this Kant society, they call it expanding the consciousness. So all the youth, was experimenting that. As I said, it's complete Maya. But the good thing was that it helped the young generation to understand that there was something else than gross matter. So 3 young girls, 19 years old, we were in that mood, trying to understand what is actually the goal of the human form of life. And at one point, we went to university, and we were studying so many ways the ancient tribes of the world were actually understanding the meaning of the goal of life. And we came to a point, we have to find a spiritual master. So where are we going to find the spiritual master? We were studying the way of life of the Dogon in Africa. So will our spiritual master be in the tribe of the Dogon? We were studying all Chinese, philosophy. Will it be in Taoism? And so on. We were studying also the way the Eskimo were living. And we had a teacher, he came from India. It was in a big university in France called La Sorbonne. So that teacher came from India. He was a Mayavadi sannyasi. And he was teaching Vedanta philosophy. So he was telling us aphorism. The meaning of it was, you are that. And we were very, very happy to speculate all our life, what is that, Then we came to the point, we need a spiritual teacher. Where to find him? So we decided we will go to India. But in order to go to India, we needed some money for the tickets and everything. So we did a little student job, very simple, to distribute publicity leaflet in the mailing boxes. And in that, we had a team. So we were in a van, like doing Sankirtan. And we had our leaflet and we were distributing. And with my friends, who became Jyotirmayi, we were reading all the time our Mayavadi books. So there was another boy in that team. He was French, but he came from America. And he had a little tuft of hair behind his head. So we didn't know at that time, I just learned it very recently, that the story of that boy, his name was Suridas Prabhu. He left his body by now. Actually, he was studying in the same university as we were, but after he went to America and to pursue his study in musicology. And then he heard about Srila Prabhupada giving classes. So he went every night to hear Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada behaved really in an extraordinary way with that boy. He spotted him, he said, I'm staying 1 week more, so come every night, listen to what I say, and after you will go to France, you will repeat what you heard. So, and Prabhupada did something even more far out. Prabhupada told him, I'm going to give you a ticket, a plane ticket, and you're going to go to Paris. And then he said something even more extraordinary. He said, in Paris, it's a lot of Maya. Paris was known for its women. Prabhupada said, the French women, they have the most beautiful faces. And the Tibetan lady, they have the most beautiful bodies. Prabhupada said like that. So he said, Paris is a lot of Maya. So I'm going to give you a devotee wife. And Prabhupada married Suridas with a very nice devotee, and he gave him the ticket to both of them to go to Paris. But we didn't know that. So in Paris, the devotees were very poor. They were sleeping, it was summer, they were sleeping under the bridges of the river called La Seine. And actually, when we met Suridas, he had been coming back to France 1 week ago. So Suridas told us, "Oh, I see you are reading spiritual books. Are you interested in spiritual life?" So we told him, "Yes, we're living for spiritual life." And he said, "Oh, I have a spiritual master, S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada." I told him, "Oh, we're looking for a spiritual master, but not a cheater." And then he told us about the Srimad Bhagavatam. You open the Srimad Bhagavatam, you become free from the cycle of birth and death. And I told him again, as a beginner Mayavadi student, I told him, "Oh, we want liberation." Then he told us, he showed his beads, we are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the great mantra for deliverance. And he showed us. So when we went back home, we bought some kind of a necklace, plastic necklaces, and we started to chant the Mahamantra in front of our pictures of Lord Buddha. And it worked. Yeah. And we became very, very attracted by the chanting. Like maybe you have seen, in the beginning, Krishna is giving so much taste. You can feel so many spiritual emotion, and you can forget all the bad habits you had. You feel completely satisfied with the Mahamantra. And after more than years ago, the purification process is starting. So all the anartha coming up, it gets more difficult. But in the beginning, Krishna is attracting everyone. So like all of your stories, how did you meet Krishna consciousness? You can remember it was very special. You were ready. You were really looking for something else. And Krishna, he made all the arrangement. So the devotee told us, please come. We have actually programs at the American Center in Paris. So we went, and as I told you in the beginning, the youth was actually under this influence, of Timothy Leary. And we thought, we don't want to be cheated. We will try a little of this LSD to see if the devotees are real spiritualists. They won't cheat us. So we went to the American Center with big eyes. And there was a beautiful kirtan. So with my friend, who became Jyotirmayi, we told each other, oh yeah, it's real spiritual life. And the devotees looked beautiful, like angels. But then we looked at the audience, and Krishna played a trick on us. The audience, it looked like the head of animals, cats, dogs, everything like that. So we told each other, yeah, that's real spiritual life. They are not cheaters. Then one Prabhu, Umapati Prabhu, American, gave a lecture. He spoke really good French. And he started to say, Krishna God is actually the absolute truth, the cause of all causes. Everything emanates from him. So I look at my friend and we say, yeah, this is very good. But then he said something very strange. He said, God, the absolute truth, is a little blue village boy. And he's stealing butter and feeding the monkeys. So we looked at each other, we say, oh, it's not for us. But the devotees were so attractive. They were so kind, they were so poor. So we invited them to come to our flat, you know. We feed them, we were vegetarians, so we fed them vegetarian food. They were so hungry, but we didn't know about onions or garlic, so our salads were full of garlics and onion, but they were so hungry they ate. And one day, one devotee, Suridas, told us, why don't you go to London? Our spiritual master is opening a temple in London. And we told him, yes, why not? Because we are looking for a spiritual master. We are going to India, but let us meet S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. And we were only 19 years old, but very proud. So the objective of going to London was actually to test Srila Prabhupada, to see if he was a real spiritual master, not a cheater. So we were so proud, you know, on top of our 19-year-old bodies and mind. So we came to London, and actually it was a very blessed day. We didn't know. It was actually December 14th. The year was 1969. We didn't know, but it was actually the installation of the most beautiful deities, I would say, Shri Shri Radha-Londonishvara. Prabhupada was actually installing Shri Shri Radha-Londonishvara. So we came, by boat, all night we were in the boat. Then we came, and there were a few ladies, Vaisnavi. Everybody at that time was actually wearing sari, no civil clothes. So they look at us, you know, we were young. When you are young, you're a little beautiful, long hair and civil clothes. And they thought we looked like Maya Devi. So they took us downstairs. They put a sari on us. They put our hair with bread like that. And then they say, yeah, now you can go in the temple. So we missed actually the ceremony, the installation of Shri Shri Radha-Londonishvara. But you might have heard that beautiful lila, that just 15 days before, I believe, I hope I'm not making mistake, about 15 days before the installation, it was announced, the date was chosen, no murtis were there. And one lady from India, she gave Yamuna Devi some small brass murti. And Prabhupada says, no, give back. She was a kind of a guru, that lady. She wants to steal you from me. So Yamuna had to give back. And then one time the phone rang in the temple. You know, this kind of phone, only one in the temple, fixed. You have to go like that, numbers, letters, and only one for everybody. No smartphone. So the phone rang, a devotee picked up. There was an Indian man on the other side saying, I heard you are looking for deities. So would you like to see? I have some deities we are not going to use. Marble, big deities. So the devotees went upstairs to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada said, let's go immediately. And he says, take the van. And he took 2 strong boys. So they came in the hall. The Indian man was there, and in the corner were a beautiful Shri Shri Radhanandishvara, not dressed, but they had painted clothes on them. So Prabhupada hardly looked at them, and he started to talk to the Indian gentleman. So what are you doing in life, blah, blah, blah. And the man says, but Swamiji, do you want to see the deities? And Prabhupada says, later. And then he asked a terrible question for an Indian gentleman. A question that is like a killer question. He said, do you have any sons? So then the man became completely ecstatic. Oh, yes, I have some sons. Oh, what are they doing? Are they studying? Are they working? Oh, yes, very successful. Wonderful marks for the exams, blah, blah, blah. And on the British television, BBC, one time there was one show where the guest was one of the best thieves. And so they asked him, how did you become a big, successful thief? So he said, actually, when you meet the person you want to steal from, you have to find his passion, what he likes the most in life. And when you have found that, then you let him talk, and he won't be able to stop or to think of anything else. And then you steal. So, of course, Prabhupada is very high, has a very high morality. But sometimes he can use things like that. So the man was talking about his son in ecstasy, because it's in an Indian family, at least in the past, now maybe not, but the son was like, top. And all of a sudden, while the man was talking, Prabhupada said to one boy, maybe it was Shyamasundar and Tamal, he said, can you lift Srimati Radharani? She heavy. So the boy went, it's all right, Prabhupada. To the other one, can you lift Krishna? It's all right. And he said, okay, quickly, take them to the van. And then the gentleman was so shocked. He ran after, but Swamiji, maybe he wanted to sell, I'm not sure. And Prabhupada says, yeah, everything is fine. They're fine, they're all right, we take them. And he said, go quick to the van. Then the boys went at the back of the van. Prabhupada sat in front, near the driver. Then he said, drive quickly. And at some point he said, stop. He went down, he went to the back of the van, and with tears in his eyes, he was singing Govinda Madhipulusham. And that day, Shri Shri Radhanandishvara had appeared to become the grand sire of London and England. So that's how they came. It was very mystical. And the funny story is that many years ago, maybe 10 years, I was invited by the temple president and to give a talk on the coming of Shri Shri Radhanandishvara. And that man, they found that man, and by Krishna's grace, he was invited to talk before me. And then he said, actually, I always wanted to give this murti to Prabhupada. You know, it was inspiration for my heart, you know. And I understood, you know, it's many truths. But I thought, it's good I didn't talk before him. You know? So these deities are very dear to Srila Prabhupada. He said, actually Krishna has cheated you. he didn't come as a statue. He came himself. And to a friend, a Pujavi in Los Angeles, she said, did you look, Prabhupada, at Rukmini Dwarkadish, how Krishna is smiling? And Prabhupada says, yes, very nice. But Radha is smiling the most. So then that happened. We were downstairs getting dressed and our hair, combed and everything. Then we came to the temple. Oh, we didn't know what happened after that for the installation. Srila Prabhupada bathed the deities. And after, Yamuna was helping. And after that, he dried them. And he told to the boys, put them on the altar. So maybe you've seen pictures of that time. There were 4 columns. 2 columns, very heavy, were supporting the canopy on top of the deities. And 2 bigger, higher columns were supporting a shelf, maybe 3 or 4 meters high, where we had Lord Balaram, Lord Baladev, and Lady Subhadra. And Shyamasundar had worked to actually build the temple room. The night before, he was so exhausted that he fainted out of exhaustion. So he thought, I will finish after. That will be good. Then Prabhupada asked 2 boys to bring the deities on the altar. And one boy, with his elbow, gave a big knock on one column. It was going to be a catastrophe because this heavy canopy would smash the deities. So Yamuna was near Prabhupada. She was frozen. And then she said, I saw something extraordinary. I saw Srila Prabhupada actually jumping on the altar like a young man. His face changed. And quickly, with one hand, he pushed away all the paraphernalia. With the other hand, he took Srimati Radharani's hand to reassure her that everything will be all right. And after he actually held the very heavy column, so Yamuna couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. Like Prabhupada looked like a knight, knight, like in the Middle Age, protecting his beloved deities. He looked very young, and he had drops of perspiration on his eyebrows. And Yamuna said, actually, what I'm seeing here, it's not from this world. It's from above, and that's where I want to go. So the boys took the pillars, the canopy, and the BBC, the British television, was actually filming. They thought it was part of the ritual. They were filming. Prabhupada went out, and he told the devotees to have kirtan. So we came from downstairs at that moment. We came, and the kirtan was so beautiful. We just couldn't believe it. So we joined the kirtan, and all of a sudden, all the devotees felt flat on the floor. We never saw that before, but because we were very polite young girls, we did the same. But Prabhupada said one of the characteristics of a lady is that she's very curious. And I was feeling very curious. So I pushed my head up a little bit, and I saw 2 beautiful golden feet passing by. Then I wanted to see to whom they belonged, And then I saw Srila Prabhupada for the first time. And it was very, very amazing. My first impression was, the altar was there. I was going down and Prabhupada was passing that way. And I thought, oh, he looks so aristocratic. He looks like the emperor of the universe. So aristocratic, head like that. But then another antinomic impression was, but he looks like the most humble sage in the universe. So that was the first meeting. Srila Prabhupada started to lead kirtan, like you have seen in videos. First it was very slow, then the rhythm picked up, then it became again very meditative. It was so beautiful. And then he started to give a class, 20 minutes maybe. And in that class it was very mystical because he was actually answering our questions without us speaking them loudly. So, and I caught, we were maybe 15 in the room, and I caught his glance, and I didn't know why there were some tears coming. And I was trying to understand why, because I'm not over joy, I'm not over grief. But I looked and I could see he has so much love and compassion. He wants to help. And he can see all our difficulties, all our suffering. And he has the solution. So that was very, very moving. So Srila Prabhupada stayed 7 days from the time we arrived. And these 7 days, we had to know if he was our spiritual master. So with my friend, every evening we had a secret question. We spoke in French, so nobody could understand. The question was, is Prabhupada our real spiritual master? And we liked him more and more every day. But we had to be convinced because the philosophy, we were not convinced by the philosophy that God was a person. So devotees really try to make us meet Srila Prabhupada as much as possible. In the morning, the day after we arrived, Prabhupada explained that it was going to be initiation next day. He said initiation is the beginning of spiritual life. So I felt at that moment I should ask Prabhupada to be initiated. I had been only 2 days. And next day, the devotees told us, you go in Prabhupada's room, you talk to him, you ask him questions. So I went up and I said, Srila Prabhupada, I was too shy to ask initiation, so could I start spiritual life? And Prabhupada had a big smile and he said, oh, you're already doing spiritual life. You're washing Krishna's dishes, you're cleaning Krishna's floor. And I looked at him like that, thinking, this is spiritual life. And later we learned that Prabhupada had asked Tamal Krishna Prabhu at the time, why don't we initiate these 2 nice French girls? And he said something, he would say to every lady in the room, Prabhupada is a poet. So he said, they're like flowers blowing in the wind. But Tamal Krishna Prabhu told him, oh, Prabhupada, they're not ready. So Prabhupada says, okay, we'll wait a little bit. So initiation took place. And what happened next? Yeah, devotees told us to go to Prabhupada's room again. So Prabhupada came to me and he asked, "What is your name?" And because I hadn't been initiated, I looked at him and said, "Prabhupada, I have no name." So he looked, surprised, and he understood. And he said, "You don't like the name your parents gave you?" And he had a big, big smile, telling, "I'm going to give you a name that you will like." And he did. So I'm just going to tell you a few stories about name. For example, when time came for me to be initiated, a few months later, I was thinking, what kind of name is Srila Prabhupada going to give? And I thought, I would like to have the name of a holy river, like my dear Yamuna. And so we received, it was the first time Srila Prabhupada was doing that, we received our initiation by letter. So Prabhupada said, "I've received, my dear daughter Mandakini, I've received your letter dated such and such, and I'm very glad to accept you as my disciple." And he said to carry on learning from the older devotees. And he said, "Your name is Mandakini. It's the name of the holy river Ganges." When it flows in the heavenly planets, it's called the Mandakini River. So I said, "Oh, I have the name of like Yamuna, of a holy river." Then Prabhupada explained that that name was connected with Vamanadev. When he became huge, and when he took 3 steps of land from Bali Maharaj, then his name was Trivikram. And Trivikram Brahmachari was like a big brother. He was taking care of us. So I felt blessed by that name. And Prabhupada was right. I really liked it. There are some other stories about names that Prabhupada gave. There is one devotee, French devotee, called Kishori. Maybe you know Kishori. She's extraordinary, not out of the box. Huh? So she was in Amsterdam, and she had to come with another lady to be initiated in London. She didn't know that Srila Prabhupada had actually chosen the names already. It was tied on the beads and everything. So they came to London, and she told the other girl, "What kind of name would you like?" So the girl says, "I want the name of a cow." And she said, "And you, Geraldine, what kind of name would you like?" "I would like no name except the name of a gopi." So then she said, "Let's go to an Indian shop." And in the Indian shop, she picked up some very big ankle bracelet with big bells. And she told her friend, "You're going to put them on your ankle, so when you will walk, Prabhupada will think of the cows in the field." And then for her, lady devotees, we were dressed very, very simply. Like in orange, like the boy, orange piece of sheet, and no makeup, no earrings, no jewelry. But then Kishori came with a lot of jewelry, lot of makeup, lot of veils, golden, and so when the two girls came to the temple, it was a big impression. Everybody was looking, what are they doing like that? So the Australian girl first came, and when she walked, it made a lot of noise. But remember, the names were already chosen. So Prabhupada, she offered obeisances. Prabhupada asked, what are the 4 rules and regulations? So she said the answers. And Prabhupada gave the beads. He says, your name is Surabhi Devi Dasi. And everybody went, chai, chai. And when it was the turn of Geraldine, she made a lot of noise with all the chewy. Everybody was looking, Prabhupada looked a little surprised. What are the rules and regulations? He gave the beads. Your name is Kishori Devi Dasi, the name of the highest gopi, Srimati Radharani. So that's so funny with names. There was another funny story with names that Prabhupada gave. There was one boy, his name was Hansadutta. No, he became Hansadutta. His name was Hans Carey. It was a German name. So remember, the Second World War II just finished. And the young children in America, they had some uncle, some father that went to the war, and they hated the German. So they were very rude with that little boy. So that boy became a man, and he really wanted to have a spiritual name and to change this awful name of Hans Carey. So, when there is a name-given initiation, it's a lot of noise. Devotees play mridanga, and often the devotees don't hear their names. So Prabhupada gave him the beads, and he said his name, and our devotee heard, your name is Hans, and boom, 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 Carey. And he said, oh, no, not that awful name again, no. And after he took the paper, it was actually Hansadutta Das Adi Carey. So many stories about name like that. So what can I tell you? One time, devotees told us, you go with Srila Prabhupada to the morning walk. It was winter, quite cold in England, and I did not know etiquette. I was just walking near Prabhupada on his right. So we went around the park, Russell Square, and at one point Prabhupada stopped. And he turned to me, so I stopped, and he looked very, very intensely. And in personal books, it is said that you will know that someone is your spiritual master when you will actually say a very, very deep mystical sentence. Then you will know he's your spiritual master. So I was feeling very happy. I thought, he's going to say it. He's going to. So he was keeping silence, looking at me. So I was trying to encourage him to say it, And after a long, long moment, he looked at me in the eyes and he says, are you cold? Are you cold? And I was so surprised and angry. I looked at him and I said, no, Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada was playing with us like that. One of the pastimes that took place at that time was that we were still polluted by Mayavadi philosophy. So Prabhupada was giving the Sunday class, and after he asked for questions. And there was one Indian gentleman who used to come a lot to the temple to teach us Sanskrit. So the man, when Prabhupada asked for a question, the man raised his hand and he said, Prabhupada, Krishna is not God. God has no form. And he went on like that for a few seconds. And Prabhupada became so angry. He started to become all red. And from the Vyasasana, he put his hand like that. He said, "You're a rascal, you're a fool, you are an ass." And we got very, very shocked because we believed in that philosophy. And in the evening, when we asked each other, do you think Srila Prabhupada is our real spiritual master? We had to say no, because we read in our book that the spiritual master should control his anger, like that. And pack our bags. We were going to go in, and Yamuna just came, and she said, Srila Prabhupada wants to see you. So we went up, and Srila Prabhupada didn't talk big philosophy, just simple talk. He asked me if I knew how to type, things like that. But we don't know how did that happen, but when we came out of the room, we didn't want to leave anymore. Prabhupada really saved us from impersonalism. It was very wonderful. So after 7 days, Srila Prabhupada went to the airport, and the whole temple was also going to the airport with him, except the pujari and the cook. So I don't know what happened at that moment, but Krishna from within made me understand that Srila Prabhupada was my real spiritual master, you know. And from that time on, I carried on serving and, you know, serving him like that. So it was very, very wonderful. So the devotees, I did it short because we don't have too much time. If you want, you can ask a few questions. If you have. Yes, my dear.
Can you tell us about the time Prabhupada asked you to go to Russia?
Yes. Yeah. So, it was in 71. Prabhupada came back from Russia. We didn't know much about it because it was very secret. I remember hearing Prabhupada is in Moscow, beyond the Iron Curtain. And I remember feeling very proud of Prabhupada, thinking he's so brave. You know, we heard terrible things about what was happening behind the Iron Curtain. You know, people get killed, imprisoned. And I thought, Prabhupada is so brave. He doesn't fear anything. But then I thought, a place I will never go, probably. Yeah. Then Prabhupada stayed 5 days. Then he went to Paris and then to London. And one day, when Prabhupada was there, I was doing a pujari service and also menial services to Srila Prabhupada, like ironing his clothes, washing them. It was so ecstatic. When you took his clothes, I was washing them in his shower room. I could smell them, you know. And it was Prabhupada's smell. For the head, it was sandalwood. and for the body mustard oil. So after I ironed them, and at that time I burnt the dhoti.
Oh.
I did not know what to do, so I took a pair of scissors and I cut it. and then I said, I hope Prabhupada won't notice. And the day after, one boy came, he said, Mandakini, Prabhupada wants to see you. I was feeling, oh, Krishna, Krishna, what's going to happen? So I knocked, and I heard Prabhupada's beautiful voice saying, come in. I came and he had a big, big smile. So I said, no, I'm all right, I'm all right. I offered, at that time, ladies offered Dandavat Pranam, like the boys. Yeah. So I offered my Dandavat Pranam. Prabhupada says, come closer. He was sitting under a low table. Shyamasundar was on his left, standing. And Prabhupada, I always remember it the same way. Very, very normal voice. Like he would say, Mandakini, can you go get some potatoes across the street? So Prabhupada says, Mandakini, would you like to go to Moscow and to marry that boy, Anatoly? And by the grace of Lord Chaitanya, assist the mission there. Oh, I forgot to tell you the most important. That a few days before, I had read in one of Srila Prabhupada's books that if the spiritual master is asking you to do a task a little difficult, and if you say yes immediately, you will do a lot of spiritual progress. So I became very excited, and I rushed to Radhanandanishvara, knowing at that time that there were persons, and I said, please, my Lord, you're so clever, can you arrange it that Srila Prabhupada would ask me to do something a little difficult? but please, help me to remember to say yes. And I forgot about it. So then Krishna is so merciful. I didn't want to get married at that time. He made me remember to, and I looked at Prabhupada and I said, yes, Srila Prabhupada. And he had a big smile. And he told Shyamasundar, please, you arranged that visa. So that's how it took place, Prabhu. And last year I heard that while they were coming back from Russia to Paris first, Prabhupada asked Shyamasundar, who do you think? Oh yeah, because Ananta Shanti, while meeting Srila Prabhupada, had asked him, maybe I could have a Western wife. Maybe it will be easier. Prabhupada said, yes, we will send you somebody. And so Prabhupada asked Shyamasundar, who do you think should go there? Shyamasundar said, I think Mandakini. And Prabhupada said, I was thinking the same.
Wow.
That's how it came to be, you know. It was very transcendental. And it's one of my most extraordinary seva, the Russian and seva. And Prabhupada still, he was right. He said, you marry that boy, and by the grace of Lord Chaitanya, you assist the mission there. So I'm still trying to help to assist the mission there. It's really a great blessing.
So how did you get there on a tourist visa?
Yeah.
For how long?
1 week.
1 week tourist visa you got.
Yeah.
And then?
Then it was a tourist visa Shyamasundar arranged to go and see the Bolshoi ballet dancers.
Right.
And at the time, I told you, we were only wearing saris. So I had to have some civil clothes. So my father helped me to get some civil clothes, and he bought the ticket.
Your father,
Yeah,
he agreed for you to go.
yeah.
Wow.
And then I was feeling like naked. You know, when you have been wearing saris all the time. So I went with the tourist group. Then the plane landed, and we went in a bus to actually, we went in a bus to go to the hotel. And I don't know if anybody has been to Russia yet. No. Now it's so much traffic, so much, you know. But at the time you could see only one or two cars on the big Prospects Avenue. You know, and probably these cars belonged to the, how do you call that? Belonged to the politicians. So it was all gray, all dark, all black, and people were frightened. They were looking down, not looking at each other, not looking at each other.
Did you speak English already?
Yeah,
And he also spoke English?
yeah. So we came to the hotel, and then it was time for dinner. So there was a tourist guide. She spoke good French, Russian, but Shamsundar had told me, actually, you be very careful not to be noticed. You don't do anything special. Don't be noticed, because she will report to the KGB. So she invited us for dinner, and she said, okay, we have 3 choices. Who wants that very nice meat and a veg? So people are, yeah. Then she said, okay, for the others, we have some fish and potatoes again. And for the others, it can be some egg dish. And I felt really terrible. I was the only one left. And everybody was looking at me and noticing me. So I had to say, I'm sorry, I'm a vegetarian. I will take vegetables. And of course, that was unheard to be a vegetarian at this time. So I went back upstairs to my room, feeling very bad. I was thinking, Srila Prabhupada, tell me when we have to stop.
I will let you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought, Srila Prabhupada, I have spoiled your mission already. I did everything wrong. I'm so stupid. And then I went upstairs, and there was a tall young man, waiting on top of the stairs while I was going to my room. And he said, are you Monique? That was my civil name. And I thought, it's a KGB. I'm already discovered. So I looked at him and said, yeah, that's me, I'm Monique, yes. He said, oh, I'm Anatoly. I said, oh, Haribol. He said, let's go to your room. So we went to the room, and he was acting very strangely. He went on his knees, he looked under the bed, he looked under the paintings. And I thought, what a strange man, what is he doing like that? And he said, let's go out. It's a lot of mics in your room. They can listen to everything you said. So we went down, and since I thought I was very open-minded, but I was a very new devotee, maybe 1 year and a half. So I told him, of course, Prabhu, you follow the regulative principles, don't you? He said, I try. So I said, but you don't eat meat, fish, or eggs? He said, most of the times I don't. And then I asked about gambling, about intoxication. And he said, yeah, you know, I really try hard. And I thought, oh, Krishna, what I'm going to do? You know, I was a little fanatical. And at the time, we went out, and there was a very beautiful Russian girl. And he said, oh, that's my cousin, Svetlana. But she didn't look at him like a cousin. So then I thought, I'm not going to ask him about the fourth regulative principle, illicit sex life. And I was thinking, oh, Krishna, Krishna, what I'm doing here. So little by little, I was teaching him everything I knew. He was a very nice boy, very intelligent. He spoke good English. So I was teaching, but, you know, since we were supposed to get married, he thought he had to do some kind of romantic scene, to put a little romance somewhere. So he was taking me to visit a beautiful place, going on a boat. And I was thinking, because at that time, devotees, in the temple, we didn't want to waste 1 second. You know, we were trained in thinking, oh, Krishna, what I'm doing, going to the Bolshoi, dancer, ballet dancer, and then Anatoly is taking me on the boat, and I couldn't stand it anymore. So I told him, Prabhu, we have to preach. So he said, Haribol, Haribol. So then he took me to some friends, and friends were coming in the apartment. The apartment he shared with his mother. And it was very, very beautiful. I really felt Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna and Prabhupada's presence. Because I was very new, but Krishna was directing me to the verse of Bhagavad Gita, what I should answer for this question or that question. It was very, very, very ecstatic. So, how much time do we have?
How long were you able to stay?
Actually, the KGB knew we were trying to spread Krishna consciousness. So even when I got married, the longest visa was 15 days.
Oh, Krishna.
And the shortest 2 days.
So what did you have to do? You had to come and go?
Yeah, we didn't have much money. So,
and how did you manage?
So I went 2 or 3 times a year.
Oh, like that?
Yeah.
You never lived long term there?
No.
So you were only short periods of time?
Yeah, but it was very beautiful. I felt indebted to the Russian youth. They were ready to give up their life, ready to give up their health, mental health, to spread spiritual consciousness.
How did you know the KGB knew that you wanted to spread Krishna consciousness?
Oh, because they already in Paris, a lot of Russian people started to come and ask questions.
Oh.
And Anatoly knew they wanted to get his passport, so he couldn't get married.
Oh.
But they didn't succeed.
And did they give him troubles because of that?
No, Krishna helped.
Wow.
But at one point, Prabhupada must have had the vision. It was before persecution, when devotees got arrested. He told me, Mandakini, don't go there anymore. He said, Europe is sure, and Russia is not sure. So attached to that service, that shows Prabhupada kindness. I told him, Srila Prabhupada, can I go once more? Maybe we will succeed this time. He said, yes, of course, go once more. But then we didn't succeed, and it was becoming
What do you
hard
mean you didn't succeed?
to get a visa to stay there.
Oh.
Sorry. Anybody has a question?
Yes, so I've read a lot about him and the work that he did in Russia. So when did he start having all the difficulties with the KBG? Because I know they, at some point they put him in the psycho and they were giving him drugs and all kind of things. Did that happen after you?
Yeah, when I left.
Yeah, when you left.
Yeah, a few years, maybe 1 year or maybe 2 after I left. It actually happened because Ananta Shanti Prabhu was very, very careful in his preaching. He was preaching to the intelligentsia, because it says in Bhagavad Gita, whatever a great man does, others will follow. But then devotees, it was more and more devotees coming. Devotees wanted to preach another way. They invite Harikesh Prabhu and Kirtiraj Prabhu to come. And they rented a bigger place for the lectures. But it was all Krishna's plan. They didn't know that the place was very close from a branch of KGB.
Oh.
So when the meeting took place, the devotees were chanting loudly, and the KGB came, took names of everyone. And they took Kirtiraj Prabhu and Harikesh to the hotel and to the plane to go back to their countries. Shy. Anything else you want?
I heard about your trip to Russia by train, and you were going to take this Bhagavad Gita book, I believe. And then there is an Lila there happening. Please, just shortly.
Yeah. You remember when Prabhupada came to America, he brought, I think, 3 boxes of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It was 3 books of the first canto. But then the devotees reprinted that with the blue cover, with Mahavishnu lying on the planets. So Shyamasundar asked me, Mandakini, the Srimad Bhagavatam have been reprinted. They come hot from the press. Would you take them to Russia? So I said, yes, Prabhu. And Krishna really helped. So this Leela, it's actually to show that if we feel we have no intelligence, but we want to become instruments of Krishna, he will do everything himself. So from my heart came the choice, I should take the train. I couldn't tell you why, I was trying to find the safest way. So the idea was I should take the train. So I came, and then there was an elderly lady who came and talked to me. And it was really Krishna's grace. She said, I hope you don't have any religious books.
She said like that?
Yeah.
And then?
Because the militians are going to get mad at you. So I looked at her and I said, no, I don't have any religious books. Then she said, you cannot hide them. They will take them everywhere. And it's impossible to hide them. So then I was thinking what to do. She said, you cannot hide them in the suitcase. You cannot hide them behind the bed. So I was praying to Krishna, my dear Lord, make some arrangement. You're so intelligent. You can arrange something, I'm sure. Then I saw an Indian man, young man, and I thought maybe I can put the books in his suitcase. Because he's Indian, maybe it won't look so strange. So I started small talk with him. He had a wife, she came, and he asked me, do you have any friends in Russia? I told him, yes, I have a Russian friend, and I have one Indian friend. Indian friend, he said, oh, tell me his name, maybe I know him. So I told him the name, Madhukar Tandon, and he became very surprised. He said, but do you know, he's the son of my boss. And then my heart started to beat, very ecstatically, because I knew the work of the father of Madhukar. Madhukar was Ananta Shanti's friend. He was one of the highest diplomats in the Indian embassy. So I put a big smile and told the man, oh, actually, maybe you can help me. I have some gift for the son of your boss. But it's a book, But the militians are really crazy. It's the Srimad Bhagavatam. Can you put it in your diplomatic suitcase? And he said, of course. And diplomatic suitcase, the police cannot open because it's like India itself. So I took the Bhagavatam, we opened the diplomatic suitcase, then we put the book, we closed, and our friend actually stopped somewhere and says, in 1 week, I will bring all the books to Madhukar. So that was so ecstatic because it made me realize that Krishna was taking over. I couldn't do anything. But Krishna and Prabhupada, they arranged everything so that Srimad Bhagavatam will go to Russia.
Wow.
And the militians came. They look very scary. They look in our suitcase, under our bed, everywhere. But then I tried not to smile. I was thinking, Krishna is more clever than you. He has arranged everything. Srimad Bhagavatam is going to Moscow. So I remember that beautiful verse of Srimad Bhagavatam saying that when Lord Krishna is leaving the planet, he will appear in his literary manifestation, Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam will be more brilliant than thousands of suns. And it will illuminate the darkness of the age of Kali. So that was such one of the most ecstatic, thing to see how Krishna was arranging everything when we had no intelligence.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I think we'll stop maybe here to let the other Prabhus settle nicely.
Yeah.
And I thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank
And
you so much.
it was a joy to be with you. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.